Did you know that right now, a staggering 67% of the calories our children are consuming, and 57% of exactly what is on your own plate, comes from ultra-processed formulations designed to attack your biology? We aren't just overeating. We are being chemically hijacked by industrial ingredients that never existed in a human kitchen until very recently. These aren't just foods. They are edible products engineered to bypass your body's natural satiety signals. And the problem here isn't just about your waistline or fitting into your old jeans or looking good for a reunion. It is much more dangerous than that. Every single time you put the wrong fuel into your tank, you are taking out what I call a metabolic mortgage. And let me tell you, the interest rate is astronomical. You are paying for it with systemic inflammation, rapid cognitive decline, and a significantly heightened risk of cancer. You end up living in this terrifying biological paradox where your cells are literally starving for energy, screaming for nutrients, while your fat stores are rapidly expanding. You are overfed, yet undernourished. So, how do you know if this is happening to you right now? You don't need a complex lab test, you just need to look at the clock. Pay close attention to the 2 p.m. crash. I'm talking about that sudden, heavy wave of exhaustion where you feel like you need a nap just to function, or you need another coffee just to keep your eyes open. Listen to me closely. That is not normal aging, and it is not just being tired from a busy day. That is a scream for help from your metabolism. That crash is a biological event called reactive hypoglycemia. It means your lunch was so rich in processed starches and sugars that it spiked your insulin aggressively. Your body panicked and shoved that sugar out of your blood so fast that your levels didn't just normalize. They crashed through the floor to unsafe levels. That feeling of brain fog and irritability is your body releasing stress hormones to emergency release stored sugar because it thinks you are dying. It's a metabolic roller coaster, and it's destroying your health. To fix this, we have to stop treating symptoms and start decoding the master switch of your entire energy system, a hormone called insulin. In a healthy body, insulin acts like a polite traffic cop. You eat, insulin rises gently, and it opens the doors to your cells so energy can get inside. Simple. But in a body suffering from metabolic dysfunction, which is the vast majority of us today, that system is broken. We are dealing with insulin resistance, and when insulin, which is your primary fat storage hormone, is constantly elevated, your body is chemically locked in storage mode. You physically cannot burn fat because high insulin blocks that process completely. Let me give you a visual to help you understand exactly what is happening at a cellular level. I want you to imagine the rusty lock and key analogy. Picture every single cell in your body. On the outside of that cell, there is a door that lets fuel in. We call that door GLUT4. Next to that door, there is a tiny, precise keyhole. That is your insulin receptor. In a perfect world, insulin is the key. It slides into the lock, turns smooth as silk, the door opens, and energy flows in. But here is the reality of the modern diet. After years, decades even, of being bombarded by sugar, processed starches, and constant snacking, that lock has been damaged. We call this serine phosphorylation in the lab, but for you, think of it as rust. The lock is gummed up. It's corroded. So now, when your body sends insulin, the key to do its job, it jams. It struggles. It cannot turn that rusty lock. The result is catastrophic on two fronts. First, outside the cell, in your bloodstream, all that sugar and fuel has nowhere to go. It backs up. Your blood turns from a free-flowing river into a thick, syrupy sludge. That creates massive inflammation and damages your blood vessels. But second, and this is why you feel so terrible, look at what's happening inside the cell. Because the door is locked shut, your cells are literally starving to death. They are gray, shriveled, and desperate for energy, even though your blood is overflowing with fuel. That is why you can be overweight and exhausted at the same time. Your house is made of firewood, but you're freezing to death because you lost the match. So, where is this rust coming from? It comes from foods pretending to be your friend. Let's look at the nutritional villain hiding in plain sight, the low-fat movement. Walk into any grocery store and look at a container of healthy low-fat fruit yogurt. When the manufacturers removed the natural fat, which gives food flavor and texture, they had to replace it with something to make it edible. So, they dumped in sugar. A single serving of that healthy yogurt can contain 24 grams of sugar. That is more than a glazed donut. When you eat that yogurt, you are flooding your system with glucose. Your pancreas screams, dumping massive amounts of insulin to deal with the emergency. That insulin tries to jam into those rusty locks, fails, and then shuttles all that energy straight into your liver to be converted into visceral fat. Compare that to a zero-spike food, like a pat of grass-fed butter or a piece of steak. These are natural fats and proteins. When you eat them, your insulin response is flat. It is nearly zero. There is no panic signal, there is no damage to the lock. You are feeding the body structure and fuel without triggering the storage switch. We have to stop fearing the fat that heals us and start fearing the health foods that are rusting us from the inside out. So, how do we fix this? We need a new operating manual for your metabolism. The guiding principle for this entire strategy is simple. Do not wake the pancreas unnecessarily. Your goal is to provide your body with the essential building blocks it needs, proteins and fats, without ever triggering those massive damaging shockwaves of insulin. Here is your 3-step action blueprint to start de-rusting those locks today. Step 1 is what I call the morning oil change. Most people start their day by throwing a sugar grenade into their stomach, cereal, oatmeal, or toast. That spikes your insulin before you've even walked out the door, setting you up for that afternoon crash we talked about. Instead, I want you to start with a cup of black coffee blended with grass-fed butter or MCT oil. This is a strategic fuel swap. Unlike sugar, which requires insulin to be processed, MCT oil goes straight through the portal vein to your liver and is instantly converted into ketones. Ketones are a super fuel for your brain. They cross the blood-brain barrier and turn the lights on immediately, all while your insulin remains at rock bottom. You are literally powering your brain while your fat-burning switch stays on. Step 2 involves the Savory Swap for your main meals. I want you to look at your plate and check the colors. If your meal is mostly beige, bread, pasta, rice, buns, you are spiking your blood sugar. We need to swap the beige for the red and gold. That means red meat and golden eggs. When you eat a steak or beef liver, the protein stimulates a hormone called glucagon. Glucagon is the biological opposite of insulin. While insulin stores fat, glucagon mobilizes energy. It stabilizes your blood sugar naturally. And those egg yolks? They are packed with choline, a nutrient that acts like a degreaser for your liver, helping to ship fat out of your organs. Step 3 is the 10-minute buffer. This is the most powerful biohack you can do, and it costs $0. Immediately after your biggest meal, go for a 10-minute walk. Not a run, just a walk. Here is the science. When you contract your calf muscles, they trigger a mechanical signal that forces those GLUT4 doors on your cells to pop open without needing insulin. You are physically bypassing the rusty lock. Your muscles suck up the glucose from your meal like a sponge, flattening your blood sugar curve instantly. Finally, I want you to stop looking at the bathroom scale. BMI is a broken metric. If you want to know if you are truly at risk, use the waist-to-height ratio. Get a tape measure. Measure your waist right at the belly button, not where your pants sit. Divide that number by your height. If the result is greater than 0.5, that is the red flag. That indicates you have visceral fat and insulin resistance. That is the number we are going to change. Before we wrap up, we have to address the elephant in the room. There are myths out there that are actively keeping you sick, and the biggest one is the idea of grazing. You've heard it a million times. Eat 6 small meals a day to keep your metabolism burning. That is scientifically backwards. Every single time you put food in your mouth, even a healthy snack, you trigger an insulin release. If you are eating 6 times a day, you are keeping that rusty lock jammed 24/7. You never give your insulin levels a chance to drop low enough for your body to switch into lipolysis, or fat burning. You are perpetually in storage mode. You need periods of rest. You need to let the engine cool down so the repair crew can come in. And a serious medical note here, this is critical. What I am describing, this shift to zero-spike foods like butter, beef, liver, and eggs, is powerful. It is a metabolic intervention. If you are currently taking medication for diabetes, like insulin or sulfonylureas, or medication for high blood pressure, you must work with your doctor. Why? Because this way of eating works so well that your blood sugar and blood pressure will drop naturally. If you keep taking the same high dose of medication while your body is healing itself, you could drive your levels too low. That is called a deprescribing protocol, and it is a conversation you need to have. So, here is the vision. You are not a victim of your genetics, and you are not a slave to your cravings. You are the architect of your own metabolism. This isn't about willpower, it's about physics and chemistry. Every time you choose a zero-spike food, you are literally applying oil to those rusty locks. You are opening the doors. You are telling your body it is safe to burn fat now. I'm not asking you to change your whole life overnight. I have a simple challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, just change one thing, your breakfast. No toast, no cereal, no oat milk lattes. Have 3 eggs or some leftover steak or just that butter coffee. Do that one thing and then see if that 2 p.m. crash shows up. I bet you it won't. If this video helped you decode what's been happening in your body, please hit that like button so we can spread this message. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What is the one health food you've been eating, maybe juice or granola or yogurt, that you now realize has been spiking your sugar all along? Let's warn each other down below. I'll see you there.